Hi, and welcome to Standard 15. Standard 15 is about using the Pythagorean theorem to solve. So let's see what it's about. Standard 15, students use the Pythagorean theorem to determine distance and find missing lengths of sides of right triangles. So Standard 15 will be these three problems. That is problems 61, 62, and 63. So let's look at problem 61. It says a right triangle's hypotenuse has length 5. If one leg is length 2, what is the length of the other leg? So first of all, it's a right triangle. We know that. We also know that the hypotenuse is 5, and that one of the legs. So the other two legs are called. The other two sides are called legs. So this one will be 2, and the one we want to know is this one. So we'll call that x. So clearly, if it's a right triangle, this is a Pythagorean theorem problem. So what we've got is 2 squared plus x squared equals 5 squared. That's 4 plus x squared equals 25. We subtract 4 from both sides. We get x squared equals 21. We take the square root of both sides, and x is the square root of 21, which can't be broken down, so we keep it. Square root of 21. Okay, pretty simple, that one. This next one is kind of my favorite, least favorite problems. It's really difficult. A new pipeline is being constructed to reroute its oil flow around the exterior of a national wildlife preserve. The plan showing the old pipeline and the new route is shown below. Alright, so let's look at this. The new pipeline is the long way, and the old pipeline is the short way, but is the hypotenuse. So what we have here is side A, side B, and side C. So it looks like it's going to ask us to find the length of the old pipeline. That'll be the C in the Pythagorean theorem. But it also says about how many extra miles. So here's this word extra miles. Will the oil flow once the new route is established? So what it's really saying is this distance minus this distance. So what we've got to do is figure out what this is and then subtract it from the sum of these two. So 60, 32, and C. This one's difficult in a lot of ways. The numbers are just very big. One of my favorite ways to do it is to reduce the problem. After all, if I reduce this and just find a factor that I can reduce out, I can multiply my C by that factor and get my final answer. And what I see here is that these are both multiples of 4. So if I divide them by 4, what I get here is 8 and 15. Now remember, whatever I get for C, I have to multiply by 4 to get the right answer. But this is much easier to do. 8 squared plus 15 squared equals C squared. So that's 64 plus 225 equals C squared. So that's 64 plus 225 is 289 equals C squared. So I take the square root and I get 17 equals C squared. Now remember, I divided by 4, so I have to multiply by 4 to get my answer. So 17 times 4 is 68. And that means that this distance is 68 miles. So going back to the question, about how many extra miles will the oil flow once the new route is established? What you do is you take the old route, which is 68, and you look at the new route. Well, the new route is going to be 32 plus 60, which is 92. So you got 92, and how much extra will it flow? Well, 92 minus the old route of 68 gets us 24. So the answer is A, 24. It's a pretty tough problem. There's a lot of details to pay attention to. So be really careful with that one. All right, 63. I like this problem. It's not too tough, but it's clever. What is the height of this rectangle? So the height of the rectangle is this distance. So it's a rectangle. It tells us that. I use the word rectangle. So that tells us that these are all 90-degree angles. And that's important because the fact that they're 90-degree angles means we can use the Pythagorean theorem to solve for the question mark. So it's going to be 7 squared plus question mark squared equals 8 squared. That's 49 plus question mark squared equals 64. So we subtract 49, and we get question mark equals square root of 15. So the answer is C. And that about does it for Standard 15. Thanks for following along. Make sure to rewind if you need to, and I'll see you in Standard 16. Thanks a lot. Bye.